I need you to hear me say this. Gut issues are not just digestive issues. I think you might be shocked by some of these signs of bad gut health. I'm Mollie Mason, I'm a holistic nutritionist, and I'm on a mission to help women feel better in their bodies so they can show up brighter in their lives. One of the main ways that I do that is by helping women heal their guts, build a strong gut foundation, because as we shared in the last video, your gut health is the absolute foundation of your physical, mental, and emotional health. And I have had the honor of helping hundreds of women from around the world find relief from their symptoms by healing their gut. So let me just tell you, I have seen every symptom in the book. I'm going to share with you some of the top and sometimes surprising symptoms of bad gut function. And let me just say right off the bat, as I go through these, if you find yourself being like, oh, that sounds familiar. Oh, this is sounding more like me. I've got a free masterclass where I'm teaching you what to actually do about it. I'll link that for you below. Okay, let's dive into some signs that your gut is imbalanced. We'll start with the obvious one here. You have poor digestion. Now this can look like the more obvious discomfort of gas, bloating, pain after you eat, heartburn, but it doesn't always mean actual pain. Both diarrhea and constipation are signs that your gut is not working properly. And yes, we are going there. We're talking about your guts. We're going to talk about your poop. You should be pooping 2 to 3 times a day. If that is not happening, you are not properly eliminating. If that's happening too much, that's almost always a sign of dysbiosis. And then there's also the harder to observe signs of bad gut function, which look like malabsorption of the nutrients from your food. Maybe you're not really feeling like your gut's messed up, but your body is literally not able to extract the nutrients from your food, and so you're seeing that in other symptoms. You react poorly to certain foods. Now, there is such a thing as real, true food allergies, where your immune system mounts a real immune response to a particle in a particular food. But there's also the more common experience that people have of just food sensitivities, where we don't respond well to certain things. Something might not sit right in your system. It might cause GI pain, but it can also cause just things like headache, brain fog. This right here is a sign of leaky gut. Some foods can cause irritation to your gut lining, but also an imbalanced gut microbiome leads to a breakdown of the integrity of your gut lining, which then allows those food particles to leak out into your bloodstream where they're not supposed to be, and then your body is reacting with inflammation. I go into this part in a lot more detail in the masterclass if you want to actually dive in on that. Another really common symptom, you struggle with brain fog. This is absolutely one of the biggest symptoms I see come through in clients across the board. And fortunately, it's one of the ones that resolves the quickest when we actually start to heal your gut. There's a few reasons that brain fog is connected to your gut. One being that unhealthy microbes like candida have byproducts like acetaldehyde that actually inhibits your brain's neurotransmitter uptake and therefore literally slows your brain function. So if you have trouble concentrating, if you just literally feel like a fog is clouding your thoughts, could definitely be a sign that your gut is imbalanced. Another one, you feel ruled by sugar cravings. This is another one that has multiple connections. An imbalanced gut microbiome contributes to poor blood sugar regulation, which always causes cravings, but also the 100 trillion bacteria and fungi that are living in your gut, they feed off sugar. So I like to give this picture. If you have that sensation, there is literally a sugar monster living inside you. And you're like, I feel like I've done all the things, but I just cannot get over these intense sugar cravings. A lot of times that's your gut. You have headaches or migraines. You have imbalanced hormones. Again, this is another huge one I see so often. One of the reasons that we see hormone issues being so prevalent amongst women these days has to do with the endocrine disruptors that are really prevalent in our beauty products, in our household products, honestly everywhere. But hormone imbalances don't just have to do with your hormone levels or your body's hormone production, but also your hormone metabolism and proper hormone detox. Now, just that word detox in general, I could teach an entire masterclass just on that. But if we're thinking about getting toxins out of your body, of course, some of that happens in sweat, but think about the main way that leaves your body, out your digestive tract. And as I shared in the previous video, many of your hormones are actually regulated by very specific strains of bacteria in your gut. An example being the estrobolome that regulates your estrogen levels. And this is one of the examples that definitely goes both ways, and we have this really nasty cycle just perpetuating each other because estrogen dominance and synthetic estrogens are known to cause yeast overgrowth, but then that yeast overgrowth also contributes to poor estrogen regulation. It's just a sick cycle that many women get really stuck in. You have skin issues. This could be acne, dermatitis, rosacea, eczema. I shared in my video about my gut healing journey that I had really terrible perioral dermatitis around my mouth on my face for the longest time. I could not clear it with anything until I finally healed my gut. But this is because the microbiome in your gut affects the microbiome on your skin, and all of these are signs of inflammation coming up from the gut. Another sign, you have mood disorders, anxiety and depression, and even just mood fluctuations where you're just like, what is happening to me? In the last video, I did share all about how your gut and your brain are so connected. More research is coming out that's showing the vast majority of people struggling with anxiety have gut dysbiosis. You can't sleep well if you either have trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. This is very often a sign that your gut microbiome is affecting your circadian rhythm. You're tired all the time. No matter how much you sleep and rest, you're just exhausted. Research also shows that the majority of people diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome have gut dysbiosis, and a lot of them even have IBS. You have an autoimmune disease. Almost 24 million Americans have an autoimmune disease, and many more are undiagnosed. I have multiple autoimmune diseases. They're predominant in my family. And as I said previously, 70% of your immune system is housed in your gut. Your gut is your immune system. Rheumatoid arthritis, celiac disease, Hashimoto's, Graves' disease, diabetes, lupus, inflammatory bowel disease, MS, Crohn's, psoriasis. Any of those inflammation-based illnesses are often linked back to gut dysbiosis. You're having trouble maintaining or losing weight. This is really fascinating. Research studies and clinical trials that have been done to show the link between weight and gut. They've actually been doing poop transplants, like literally taking the gut microbiome of a healthy, thin person, putting it in an overweight person who has struggled to lose weight, and that person will almost immediately start to lose weight. It's mind-blowing. And another really common sign, you get frequent or recurrent infections. Now, a lot of this has to do with the fact that your immune system is housed in your gut. This could look like UTIs, yeast infections. I have a lot of women who struggle with these, who get these frequently. Of course, over-the-counter drugs only do so much because it's not actually addressing your gut, the foundation of your microbiome. It's just addressing your vaginal microbiome. Your gut is always gonna overflow into those other places. But even just getting sick often, like even just having a compromised immunity and not being able to fight off infection, getting sick every time someone around you gets sick. These are signs your immunity is compromised because your gut microbes are out of balance. Now, there are a lot of different symptoms, and you'd be amazed to hear some stories of what things have cleared up with clients I've worked with when they actually address their guts. But those are definitely the main ones that I see frequently, and fortunately, a lot of the main things that people find freedom from when we actually help them get to the root of their issues. And please hear me say, if you struggle with any of these things I listed, please do yourself a favor and check out my free gut health masterclass. In that training, I do a much deeper dive into explaining how all of this is connected. We talk about why other treatments you've tried haven't worked, and most importantly, I'm actually sharing with you the exact system I use to help clients find freedom from these symptoms. It's totally free, and you can grab your spot below. And let me know in the comments if you struggle with any of these signs. You're definitely not alone, but there is good news. There's something we can do about it. More on that in the training. I'll see you there.